Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Mustafa Mohammed Boucher, and today we are going to continue from where we left off. So we are going to see how we can use Express to create a simple CRUD application, right? And our create will be a post request. Our read is going to be a get request. Our update is going to be a put request. And the delete is obviously going to be a delete request. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to create an array of objects, and I'm going to call this, for instance, courses. And then let's give it just the name, or let's say the title. So the title is, for instance, let's say JavaScript. And for the next course, let's say we have maybe PHP, and then we have, for instance, maybe Java, right? So we have these three courses basically, right? So we want to display these three courses in JSON, so that whenever maybe someone makes a request to courses, when someone makes a request to courses on our website, we want to return the available courses that we have, right? So what we'll do is we just do res, which is the response that we want to send, and then we can send it like this, and then we can just pass our courses, right? So if we save this and then we head over to, I'm using Thunder Client. You are free to use Postman if you want, but if you want to use Thunder Client, all you have to do is head over to the extension and then search for Thunder Client, which is this first one, and then you can use it in making your requests, any form of request that you want. So this time around, I'm going to type, for instance, courses, because that is where our courses can be located from this particular URL, and I'm going to make a get request. So we have all our courses right over here. We can see all our courses, right? Beautiful. Now, for instance, if we want to select a particular course, maybe JavaScript or maybe PHP or maybe Java, how are we going to go about that? So what we're actually going to do is we are going to have an instance where, for instance, when the user passes an ID, we want to return a particular course to them. So that is also going to be another get request. So we'll make a get request to, for instance, courses, and then maybe the course ID, right? So let's say const, and then let's do the ID or the course ID, which is going to go to the request, and then we'll check the parameter and I will see whether it has this, right? So first and foremost, what I can actually do is we can actually show what we are retrieving when it comes to the ID. So let me just do JSON. Let's do ID goes to the course ID, right? So now if I go to courses and I do /1, we get the ID of 1. But bear it in mind, the ID that we are getting is actually what? A string, right? So instead of, for instance, and obviously in our courses, we don't have any ID assigned to it. So let's actually use title, okay? Let's use title. Sorry, title. There we go. We have, like, the course title. And this obviously is also going to be the course title. So if I make the request again, we have it, right? Now that we are grabbing the title, of course, this is supposed to go to title. Now that we are grabbing the title, we have to search for the title from this particular JSON that we have over there, right? So we can say const find item is going to go to the courses.find, and then we'll say for each item in there, search to find whether you are going to get the item.title, which is in lowercase to lowercase, being equivalent to the title that we are getting from the URL. Okay, so if we have the find item, we want to return, we want to send the find item, right? Else, we just want to send a JSON with status being false and, for instance, message being not found. Okay, so let me save this and let's hit this. This is actually going to give us not found because there's no title as one. So let's do PHP, for instance, and then we get that particular item. So this is working beautiful. Now the next thing that we're actually going to do is we are going to work on the create. Okay, we are going to work on the create. So let's do app dot, which is going to be a post request, and that is actually going to go to courses. We'll have our request and then our response, and then what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to get the body, okay, from our request. So say, for instance, the course const, let's say course goes to request.body, and what we actually want to do is we want to add this particular course to the previous courses that we have. So let's say const new course, or let's say, yeah, new courses goes to the courses, and then we are adding the new course like that. Then we are sending the new course or the new courses just like this. Now this is actually going to give us a little challenge, but let's try it. Okay, so if we make a post request and then we come to the body and then we give the title, for instance, title, and then we make this, for instance, what name, let's say React.js. If we make this request, this is actually not working, right? We are getting null over here, and it's actually not working because before our URL, right, before we start defining our routes, which is the right word to use, before we start defining our route, since we'll be sending a JSON object through the body, we need to use certain middleware. So we do app.use and do express.json. So this middleware ensures that we can actually pass a JSON object through the request. So if I save this and then we go back and then we make this request, we realize that we have the React.js right over here. We can change this to, for instance, React Native, and then if we make the request, we have React Native. So our post request is also working perfectly as it should. And now we are going to work on, for instance, the delete request. So the delete request is also going to go for a delete. Let's say to go to courses, and let's say we'll delete by title again. So So let's do const title goes to yep. And then we are going to filter through the courses and ensure that this particular course title which has been specified will not be returned. So what we'll actually do is we do const, for instance, new courses goes to, yep, new courses goes to, then we'll do the courses dot filter, and then for every item in there, we want to make sure that the item dot the title, which is a lowercase, is never equal to the title to lowercase, like this. So this is actually going to return all the items in the courses except those that match the title which is being passed in the URL, right? And then we're actually going to send our new courses, right? This can actually be our filtered courses. So filtered courses goes to filtered courses. So now if I make a delete request, where is the delete? If I make a delete request and I pass in, for instance, JavaScript, bear it in mind, how many courses do we have? We have 3 over here and JavaScript is at the top. So if we are deleting JavaScript, we are supposed to return PHP and Java. So if I make this delete request, we actually get PHP and Java, which means this is actually working as it should. Okay, perfect. I think we've covered everything except for the put. So let's make a put request. So right over here, let's make a put request. Okay, so let's say to courses, and actually instead of the ID, we are still going to use the title. And what we'll rather do is we're actually going to use the map function, okay, to map through. So how am I going to go about this? Okay, wait, let's make a put request to this. Okay, so first we are going to pass the old title as the title we want to use it to find the title we want to work on, and we'll pass the new title. Okay, so we'll do the request. Let's do body goes to request.body, right? And then we actually we can destructure this. So let's do title, for instance, title, and then new title, like that. And what we're actually going to do is we'll do courses, let's say, yes, courses dot map, and then for every item in there, we'll check if the title to lowercase is equivalent to the item dot title the item to lowercase, of course, sorry, item.title to lowercase, we'll just do the item.title will then be the new title, and then we'll return the item like that, and then we'll just send back the courses. So let's do res.send courses. So in my quest of making a new making a put request to this endpoint, let me make sure that it's the same endpoint exactly to this particular endpoint. Let's save this. We have the title, which is, for instance, let's say JavaScript, and then we'll set the new title as, for instance, Node Express. So if I make a post request, we get Node Express, and then we get what? PHP, and then we have what? JavaScript. Now let's go back and check something real quick. You realize that this is what we actually have, right? We have JavaScript, PHP, and then what? Java. But when we are making the put request, we are actually updating the title. So we are saying use this title as, for instance, the ID to identify the title that we want to update, and as soon as you find that particular title, update it, change it to Node Express. So over here we are going through this item, and obviously we pass JavaScript as the title that we want to change. So we'll grab this particular item and then we'll replace the value over there with what? With Node Express. So I hope this particular tutorial has given you some insights on how to create a simple CRUD application with Node and Express, and I hope it's been useful to you. The next thing that we'll be learning in the next tutorial is how to connect our Node Express to, for instance, MySQL database. So I hope this tutorial is useful to you and you continue watching. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.